1060. Here with my colleague Joe Busciano. We're expecting our other colleague Monica Rodriguez shortly. But we've got a full agenda, Mr. Clerk, and I'd like to open the multiple agenda public comment items first. And it looks like we've got 3 speakers. Okay, Wayne Spencer, followed by Arnold Sachs, followed by Mr. Herman. And we've got 2 minutes each.
That's right.
Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today.
That's right. So thank you for giving me a mere 2 minutes on like 19 items. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do with all this time. So I know everybody been busy. Everybody been wondering, why is this committee not meeting so regularly and bunching all this shit together in one meeting? And the answer is because everybody, including the chair, they've been busy with the FBI answering a lot of questions about shit on this agenda.
Please
And the other agenda.
Please stay on the agenda, sir.
We are. It's about money. Everything on the agenda is about one thing. Money and whose pocket it goes into first. So first, it goes into the nonprofit, then the attorneys, then the lobbyists, and finally, the council members. That's the way you do it. Then you got to pay off the building inspectors after that. Once you get your things set, they come out and they go, hey, and I go, what? You got to pay us off. I said, I paid off everybody. What do you mean I got to pay you off? Well, we got to pay off the building inspector, and then the supervisor got to get paid off, and then the local city prosecutor got to get paid off. And if you say no, you get your ass a lien, you get your ass this, and you get your ass that, or they call social services and make up a story that you slapped your wife or your kids, and they take them out of your house. So, everybody must obey. And that's what it is. Committee by obedience. And all this shit is going to get rammed down that agenda item and put on that regular council so no one can speak at the next meeting on a goddamn item on a goddamn 19 things. And Monica knows that, and she don't like it, and that's why she's getting so fat, because she eating because of the pressure going on. You don't like it?
Thank you for your comment.
Yeah. Now
We're
we
joined by our colleague,
Where's my
also
general?
member Monica Rodriguez. We are glad you're with us.
Where my general? General public.
General will be at the end.
No, I want to do it now.
Sir, you are disrupting. Would you like to leave or would you like to be quiet? You got a choice.
Wait, it'll be at the end. It'll be at the end.
Mr. Sachs,
This guy was
2 minutes, please.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. So I'm looking at this agenda. I ought to put a ring in my nose and have people tie a rope to it so you can just pull me around. It just came from the Board of Supervisors. And I'm wondering why, in 2019, you're looking at CRA properties when the CRA was folded in, 2012, 2013. So for 6 years, you've had all these properties around, and nobody's done anything with them. And the business improvement districts, same kind of thing. What you might do for economic development is, again, the only real job forecast, and I appreciate the fact that a couple weeks ago, you threatened the people that work at City Hall, they'll lose their housing if they say anything, and then next thing you know, they're signing up for, what is it, Care LA? Isn't that part of Mark Ridley Thomas's Healthy LA initiative? So you got no choice. You either sign up or you lose your job. But the real job perspective here, again, is back to the healthcare. Because you have all these people that have insurance, it's homeless people who are signed up, enrolled in the county's healthcare plan, and they have premiums worth about $1,000 a piece, which means that their healthcare would be paid for by medical professionals who are not like getting Medi-Cal funding, not Medicare funding. They're getting paid dollar for dollar what they earn. Let the insurance company pay for it. But Mark Ridley Thomas, who thought this was a great investment, doesn't want to give up any of that money. Do you realize that guy is worth like, he's one of the richest people in California? Like his rolls of dimes are $10,000 bills each. He's making money in LA Care like $20 million a month. That's $240 million he's not spending.
All right, thank
Why
you.
doesn't the city take care of that and use it to create some jobs for the workers they
Thank
want to
you
lay off?
for your comments. Mr. Herman, are you here? Herman? No? Okay, no Herman. That concludes our multiple agenda public comments. Mr. Clerk, what is the next item before us?
We have,
3 through 20 on consent.
I'm sorry, okay, we're going to move items 3 through 28 on consent. Items 3 through 28, members, unless there's an objection.
yeah, staff has requested to make a technical amendment to item number 4,
Okay,
and they're requesting that it reflect that there are 2 pianos instead of 1.
okay, duly noted. Any other corrections, additions? Being none, those items will be moved on consent. Thank you. Okay, we're going to call items 1 and 2 together regarding our sidewalk vending program. Okay, we're going to take some public comments, and you'll have 1 minute. And first,
And I will read those into the record.
yes, please, read them, sir, into the record.
Item number 1 are reports from the City Administrative Officer and the Bureau of Street Services relative to the establishment of permit fees for the sidewalk and park vending program. Item number 2 is a report from the Chief Legislative Analyst relative to the results of the outreach and education requests for qualifications for the sidewalk and park vending program.
Okay, great. So we've got several speakers. If you can come up as you're called, be ready to speak. You'll have 1 minute. Vivian Hartman, Maria Torres, Jesse Vasquez, Alicia Mendoza, Laura Castillo.
2 minutes.
1 minute.
My name is Vivian Hartman, and I want to say right up front, I'm not against the vendors at all. They work so hard to get where they are, but this is a new issue. My glasses will shoot. What it is the new law to allow the vendors the right to vend wherever they like, and without regard to the, well, thank you very much. Today, local restaurants are losing essential business due to blatant use of street and sidewalk space in front of existing permitted businesses. Currently, financial loss is resulting in layoffs and possible financial ruin, leading to possible closures. This will cause commercial vacancy and loss of tax revenue for Los Angeles and for the state. And currently, the street restaurants operating under the guise of vendor are establishing themselves on Yelp, Instagram, Grubhub, and utilizing the pickup and delivery locations using registers, which is alluring existing customers from brick and mortar businesses, and the blatant use of the address to promote the sales of their sidewalk business in front of the existing permitted business. The tent food restaurants, non-permitted sidewalk vendors are taking necessary parking. I need 1 minute.
Look, I'm sorry, ma'am, you've had 1
I
minute.
left you in front, is what I asked for.
Thank you.
The health department without permits, the health department cannot confront any tent venue, and that is a health
Okay.
and safety issue.
Thank you, ma'am.
If you have cancer,
I think we understand your
you have
concern.
contamination of food, and they get
Thank you.
fever and they die, you don't know why.
Okay.
We have to stand by.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate your comment. Jesse Vasquez.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is Jesse Vasquez. I'm the son of immigrants from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. My parents started a restaurant 34 years ago, and because of their hard work, we're still standing. I'm here today in front of you because of my concerns. My concerns are not because of discrimination, but the health violations that are being ignored by the County of Health in Los Angeles. I've been a chef for many years, and we need your help. There's too many health hazards that pose a threat to the citizens of our city. Current explorations of these hazards include foodborne illness that can be fatal, many of these non-permitted food vendors are not being monitored. My hope for resolution is that the city imposes the same rules and regulations that are imposed on my colleagues and myself. Before I close,
Finish your thought, sir. You may finish your, finish your
before I
sentence.
close, I
Yes.
just wanted to say, my father passed away March 10th of this year, and he always told me, always do the right thing. And I could promise you, if he was here today, he would say to you guys, please do the right thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Laura Castillo?
Hola, mi nombre es Laura y soy miembro de SoCal Restaurant Association. Vengo de la ciudad de Los...
Momento.
As of right now, the interpreter still has not shown up, so if
Okay.
there is someone from your organization that could translate, just, that would be very helpful.
Anyone willing to volunteer?
Nadia, do you want to do it?
Okay, we have a volunteer stepping forward. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Mi nombre es Laura,
My name is Laura.
soy miembro de SoCal Restaurant Association y vengo de la ciudad de Los Ángeles.
I'm a member of a so-called restaurant owner association.
Hace 10 años arriesgué todo por el sueño americano.
10 years ago, I risked everything for the American dream.
Emigré de México hacia este país
I came from Mexico to this country,
en busca de las oportunidades que este país me ofrece
searching the American opportunity
y buscando cambiar el futuro de mis próximas generaciones.
and looking to better the life of the future generations.
Gracias a que este país me acogió y al esfuerzo de mi trabajo,
Thanks to this great country and the hard labor,
construí mi propio negocio, una lonchera,
I built my own business, a mobile restaurant,
que opera con los permisos existentes y establecidos bajo las leyes de este país y de esta ciudad.
I follow the rules and I gather
Aquí
the
se los
permits
muestro.
necessary to run the business.
Hoy yo no vine a este país a cambiar las leyes.
I didn't come to this country to change the laws.
Vine a que se me diera la oportunidad de lograr mis sueños. Y hoy solo quiero decirle a Los Ángeles gracias porque esa oportunidad me lo diste. Y todos aquí en la sala tenemos las mismas oportunidades.
We all here have the same opportunities, but I choose to follow the rules rather than other people not following the rules.
Yo no vine a copiar un modelo que en mi país no funcionó.
I didn't come to copy a plan that didn't work in my country.
Porque si fuese así, yo estuviera allá.
Because if it would have worked, I would have stayed over there.
Yo no vine a que Los Ángeles se convierta en un espejo de mi país de origen.
I didn't come to make LA to look like my home country.
Okay, gracias, gracias. Okay, Maria Torres, Alicia Mendoza, Ligia Bares, and Geraldo Robero.
May I?
Yes.
Let me start by...
Identify yourself, please.
I'm sorry?
Identify yourself.
Maria Torres. Let me start by emphasizing that Southern California Restaurant Association.org is not again SB 946. Our family-owned business has been serving the beautiful city of Los Angeles for the last 34 years. In these 34 years, Tarasco has survived the recession in 2007 through 2009. Tarasco has had the privilege of providing not only jobs, but also safe and healthy environment for our employees as well for our customers. Proudly, we have served our surrounding communities for over 3 decades. As an established licensed restaurant, we have taken many classes throughout the years to learn and educate to better serve each and every one who walks through Tarasco doors. We, Tarasco, take safe precautions and follow protocol in food handling by obtaining manager and staff food safety certificates. Tarasco restaurant is a full alcohol licensed restaurant. With an alcohol license, we have more responsibility to our city. Tarasco would never break the law in either serving the minor or allowing an alcohol beverage to leave the established restaurant. The laws of serving the alcohol are being broken by many food vendors. They sell containers of alcohol beverages to the city streets, breaking the laws and putting drivers behind the wheel. In the past 10 months, our sales have declined dramatically. The staff that I employed in 2018 was 31.
Please wrap up, ma'am.
Now I only employ 18. Again, Southern California Restaurant Association.org is not again SB 946. We just want the same rules and regulations. In closing, let's keep the dream alive for our future generations and becoming entrepreneurs and following the rules and regulations. Let's make LA beautiful again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mi nombre es Alicia Mendoza. Soy miembro de SoCal Restaurant Association.org. Además, soy dueña de un restaurante en la ciudad de Los Ángeles,
I am a business owner in the city of LA,
el cual emplea más de 10 personas.
which employs more than 10 people.
Recientemente aprobaron la legislación en la cual le permite a la gente vender en las vías públicas.
Recently, people was allowed to sell on the streets.
Confundieron vender artículos con comida y están creando una zona de desastre en nuestras áreas, creando contaminación sin tener los mínimos estándares de seguridad para los clientes.
Street vendors don't comply with regulations, health regulations.
Nuestros restaurantes siempre estamos regulados por letras como A, bueno,
Our restaurants are regulated by letters A or B.
B como OK y C como clausura. Estoy aquí para pedirles que pongan un stop a toda esta contaminación
I'm
que
here
estamos viendo
to ask for help.
vendiendo comidas en las cuales no tienen los mínimos estándares de higiene para los clientes. Nosotros estamos aquí. En esta confusión,
Street vendors don't comply with healthy regulations, and we restaurants, we do follow the rules.
han provocado que la gente piense que es más rentable
And this has helped people to realize that it's easier to sell on the street than actually opening a business.
vender comida en la vía pública sin poner un restaurante, ya que ellos no tienen ninguna agencia que los regule, haciendo esto
Because they have no regulations or rules to follow.
muy rentable, ya que no tienen ni siquiera el permiso para poder vender comida o pagar impuestos.
They don't pay taxes, and they make a lot more money.
Muchos de nosotros pronto tendremos que cerrar nuestros negocios.
Many of us, we have to close our doors.
Okay, just please summarize your comments.
Estamos haciendo muchos de nosotros lo posible por mantener nuestro negocio
We
abierto,
are doing everything we can to stay in business,
pero no podemos sin la ayuda de ustedes.
but we can do it without your help.
Okay, thank
Queremos que los regulen igual como nos regulan a nosotros, en la misma manera.
And we're looking for the same regulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next. Yes.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Ligia Baires, soy miembro de SoCal Restaurant.
I'm also a member of Soccer Restaurant.
Yo vine hace 6 años de mi país, El
I came
Salvador,
6 years ago from El Salvador.
por lo cual soy una persona indocumentada en este país,
I'm an undocumented immigrant.
pero actualmente
But
tengo 4 años con mi
I have 4
restaurante.
years with a business, with a restaurant.
Saqué todos los permisos
I
y
have all the
estoy
permits
trabajando bajo
and
la ley,
licenses, and I'm working under the law.
lo que significa que sí se pueden hacer las cosas
What it
como
means that it's possible,
como la ley de California lo establece, cumpliendo los taxes y cumpliendo todo lo de salubridad que nosotros podemos hacer.
my restaurant follows the law.
Actualmente mi restaurante está dando trabajo a 8 personas
Currently, my restaurant employs 8 people,
y espero que podamos seguir creciendo y podamos
and I
seguir
hope
con las
to
leyes
grow
establecidas dentro de California.
following the law of California.
Solo les pido de ayuda, que sí se puede, aunque nosotros seamos indocumentados, cumplir las leyes
I
que
ask for
debemos.
your help for us as restaurant owners to stay in business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gerardo Robledo. I've been in business for around 20 years. When I first came to this country looking for the American dream, I had the chance to start as a street vendor or to open my own restaurant, and I decided to do it in the American way. Since day one to date, we have employed around 1,000 employees, some U.S. citizens and some immigrants from several countries. Opening a restaurant wasn't easy. I had to work 2 full-time jobs. I had to adapt myself to the English language and to all the laws that apply to restaurants. As of today, we have around 120 employees on our different restaurants and locations. That is translated to 120 families that depends on our business to bring food to their tables. These families are living under fear because our sales have dropped dramatically since many ambulatory restaurants are located around my business. These vendors are selling food without any regulations, putting at risk the public health and the well-being of all our community because they set the mobile restaurant under a tent on sidewalks and city property. This is unfair competition because we pay large amount of fees to operate and taxes. My American dream, as well as my employees, is on risk if you keep allowing them to sell food this way. And to be clear, I'm not against public vendors. I just want they respect the law and to comply with the SB 946 law.
All right, thank you.
God bless you all.
Thank you. Francisco Negrete, Maria Torres, Nadia Abrica, Rafael Guerrero, and
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Francisco Negrete. I also started business 20 years ago. I currently have 4 locations. I first started when I first started my restaurant, I went and bought a hood from the LA Times, the classified ads, not knowing anything about how to start up. So I went there. Then after a while, I realized that there was a problem because I had to follow some certain restrictions with the airflow. So I had to take it down and start fresh again. And my philosophy has always been that the sun shines for everybody, and there's room for success for everyone. But just recently, when a street vendor started to put on the right side of my business, that started to decline my business. And then another one came up a few short time later on the left side, and that really had a big impact. I've been trying to do promotions, do sales and stuff like that, even entertainment to see if I could bring people in the door, but it's still kind of hard for me to follow through. So I ask that you guys please help me out in that way so that we can regulate these vendors that don't have any hoods on their sales. So we can do that. Thank you.
thank you.
I wanted to ask you, as the president of SoCal Restaurant Association, if you can give me 2 minutes?
No,
That's okay.
that's okay. Thank you.
So in that case, I'm going to start fresh.
Yes, please.
My name is Nadia Abrica, and I own the restaurant of Mama Licha's Kitchen, which, a matter of fact, it's my American dream. Right now, at this exact moment, I have 2 full restaurants with tables, lights, drinks, everything outside right in front of me. Because of that, my sales went down, like dramatically. Now at the moment, I am a parent of 3 kids. One of them, he's 6 months. I breastfeed my child, and I have to bring it with me to the restaurant because I cannot afford daycare, anything, because of the situation. My employees, I cut hours. I cannot do it no more. And my American dream is dying. And that's why I'm here in behalf of a lot of restaurants trying to ask you for your help. I want to ask you to be our champions, to help us. But don't get me wrong, I understand that it's a culture, the vending outside, it's a culture, and we understand that, and we are not against them. We want to ask you to please help us by regulating them, and let's educate them. Let's help them too. Let's help these people that is outside selling to be educated, to comply with the law, and we as community together, we can all work together for the best. So we are asking you for your help. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rafael Guerrero. No more translating this time.
Thank you.
I hope I get extra time for my work.
I don't know.
Okay, so I'm also a business owner. We put everything we have on our business, and I think it's extremely unfair to have people with full-on restaurants running across the street, over the street, with tables, chairs, tents, lights, credit cards. even selling alcohol, some of them, when we cannot even get an alcohol license. I think it's completely unfair. I think people took advantage of the good faith of local officials and state officials of allowing people vending. They just took advantage. You have locations with the same owner, 5 locations, 10 locations, 20 locations, same owner, making a lot of money. And that's costing a lot of people's business, families, and the well-being of a lot of people. So I please hope you guys see the problem and do something about the problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, Maria Torres.
I forgot to mention that we left a copy for you guys, and we highlight the importance of the law.
We have it here. Thank you. Thank you very much. Maria Torres, Jose de los Santos, Chris Paz, David Juarez, Celita Turcio.
Hello, good afternoon. I would like to show you guys a video that was...
Your name, ma'am?
Celita Turcios.
Celita, okay.
I would like to show you a video that was taken on Saturday, and then on Monday, yesterday, was shown to a professional doctor. I will play it.
This is really concerning. I mean, we are in a state of exaggerating here, but see, I practice medicine trying to prevent people from getting sick. That's the best medicine, not treating people when they're already sick. And this is a recipe for disaster. From everything I've seen in this video, there's just conduction and transmission of bacteria everywhere. This is how you can spread easily. Salmonella, Shigella, E. coli, even hepatitis A. It's serious.
Mi nombre es Ligia Baires, soy dueña del restaurante La Sabrosa. Es una decepción porque hay miles de errores de salubridad, contaminación cruzada, exposición de contaminación por monedas a la comida, el hielo que está fuera de las temperaturas, las carnes no tienen sus temperaturas. Es súper impactante.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, council members. My name is David Juarez. I'm here with the California Restaurant Association. We are in support of the street vending program. The only thing we would like to ask, just like a follow-up to the video, to require a food handler's card for street vendors. The food handler's card is required already to restaurants. It's basically a training that is done within 2 hours. It's quick. They can do it online. They can do it in person. It comes in multiple languages. It's a state law that the restaurant needs to follow. And it's basically a training that teaches them how to be sanitary, how to dispose of trash. It teaches them about allergens. Teaches them how to properly cook effectively in outside venues and inside restaurants. So there is currently a training that exists that street vendors should also be taking, and it should be part of the application permit process when they go and apply for one here with the City of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Can I ask a question?
Yes. Councilwoman.
Can I ask a question? Is that administered by the county through county health permit, or is that,
So it's a state law that,
who administers that class?
so different organizations that are certified by the state, the county enforces the food
Okay,
house.
so it's a county, okay.
So they enforce it, but they don't administer the test.
Right,
Yeah.
got it, thank you.
Okay.
Esto es un llamado a las autoridades
This is a call to authorities.
Supuestamente este es un país donde reinan las leyes y las
This is a country of
justicia por
laws.
todo. Y me encuentro como que estoy equivocado.
And I find myself
Estoy en un sueño
feeling in the wrong
profundo, o
place.
entendí mal que en este país se tenían que
Either an
seguir,
Alzheimer or a fault or a wrong place.
que en este país se tenían que seguir las reglas estipuladas
I tell that this country follows the law.
para progresar y competir de una manera ordenada.
to progress and compete on a fair playing field.
De repente miro restaurantes sobre ruedas por
I have
todos
seen
lados,
restaurants on wheels everywhere,
sin regulaciones,
with no
ni-
regulations,
sin ninguna reglas de
and
nada,
no rules to follow,
y ocupando todas las banquetas.
and
Y he
blocking
visto
sidewalks and
cuando-
streets.
Y he visto cuando están levantando sus negocios que bajan sus galones de amonia y lo tiran sobre las banquetas.
At night when they're going home, I seen them dropping chemicals on the streets and the dirt,
Y luego le echan un bote de agua y todo a
and
la
then
calle.
they just put water on top of it.
Y yo pregunto, ¿esto es correcto?
And I wonder if this is okay.
Aparte del daño y el peligro que están ocasionando por el ingénico,
Aside from all the healthy issues,
algunos vendedores no son los dueños de los
many
negocios.
many business workers are not the owners of the establishment.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, next up, Jose de los Santos, Chris Paz, Alfredo Jimenez, Carla De Paz, and Rudy Espinoza.
That was Jose de Santos,
That was Jose?
and I'm Chris.
Okay, Chris. Okay, Chris, thank you.
Muy buenas tardes a todos.
Good
Como
afternoon.
dueño de restaurante en Los Ángeles,
As a restaurant owner in the city of LA,
me siento frustrado
I feel frustrated
por lo que está sucediendo
for
hoy
what
en
is
día.
happening right now.
Se han visto mis ventas
My sales have dropped.
dañadas, que he tenido la necesidad de reducir personal
I've been forced to cut my employees' hours
por estas situaciones.
because of this situation.
Tenía 45 empleados,
I have
ahora
45
tengo
employees.
30.
I have 30 right now.
Le hago un llamado a las
I make a
autoridades
call to city officials
para tener consensos que ayuden a resolver esta problemática.
to have
Resolution.
the resolution to help with these issues.
Todos tenemos los derechos,
We all
pero
have
los
the right to
derechos-
work,
pero los derechos se ganan junto al respeto.
and you have to respect the law.
Cuando la ciudad de Los Ángeles, como comentario, aprobó el salario mínimo,
When the city of LA approved the minimum wage,
todos los dueños supimos de esto.
we all business owners knew about it,
Y me siento muy mal porque
and I feel bad
la ciudad de Los Ángeles no nos comunicó
Because the city
de
of
esta
LA
manera sobre estas leyes que querían
didn't
imponer.
inform us
Para
about
los
these new
vendedores.
laws
Thank you.
about street vendors.
Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, honorary committee. I come to you as not only a member of SoCal Restaurant Association or an entrepreneur, but as a member of this community. I would like to begin by acknowledging the efforts of many of the street vendors as they are working vigorously to overcome their economic situation. I too am working nonstop to overcome my economic situation, not only for my family, but my 40 employees, some who have worked with us for the last 20 years. I now see that the inadequate knowledge and insufficient or non-existent training in some cases has come to create a health and safety concern for our community. We are in many ways headed in the direction of an epidemic. As a city or community, we are not prepared for what is to come of this. I want to make this clear. It is not the street vendors' fault that the city has not established processes and procedures and health regulations for the people that are trying to make a living. We are here to request that the city, you as elected officials, placed in those seats by us, the voters, make the right decision in setting the proper restrictions for proper food preparation and handling, just like all other restaurant establishments. Food health and safety regulations need to come first and be set in place and upheld with program created by and backed by the city to support restaurant, street vendors, and food trucks alike. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Good afternoon. My name is Rudy. I'd like to start by saying that I generally agree with many of the comments made today. We want to help people participate in the system. That's the spirit of this initiative. That's the reason why we've been working on this for 10 years. Vendors are here because they want to get their county permits and they want to get their City of LA permits. Unfortunately, the proposal before you today has a permit fee that's $541. It's going to make it nearly impossible for many vendors to be able to afford that and go to the county to get their health department permits. So the first suggestion that I'd have for this committee is please consider recommending a lower permit fee to help you all participate in the system. It's just too high. The second thing that I'd like to offer in the spirit of everything that's been said today is that we should consider how the City of Los Angeles aligns with the county. The county has some issues and they are not prepared for all these vendors, and the city needs to sort of work with them to see how we can align our timelines, because I know you're trying to work to get this going in January 1st, and they're not ready over there. There has to be an alignment of timelines to make this happen.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Carla de Paz, East LA Community Corporation, the LA Street Vendor Campaign. And just to echo some of the things that Rudy just said, my team works with thousands of vendors across the city. And day after day, we see them trying to make this work. We actually just hosted a workshop a few months ago with 120 vendors where they all received their seller's permits and their City of LA business licenses, and are working to do a food handler's permit workshop soon. Folks want to do this. They want to get their permits. They want to get the carts that they need, but it's been difficult in actually moving that piece and being able to manufacture the carts that need to be manufactured in order to get the commissary space that needs to be provided to them. So just like Rudy said, I hope that the city, that folks in this committee can support in aligning our timelines with the county, and that we also lower those fees, the permit fees that are being recommended, because this program was intended to help low-income entrepreneurs, mostly women, many immigrants, a lot of seniors who are on SSI, making $10, $15 a day from the vending, and a fee of $500 is too much for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Santa Huerta, Claudia Moreno, Miguel Perez, Aurelano Santiago, Caridad Vasquez.
Buenas tardes, señores concejales de este comité. Nosotros estamos aquí abogando.
Memento.
Okay, ready? Let's
Thank
do
you,
this. Good afternoon, committee.
Estamos aquí nosotros, los vendedores ambulantes, abogando sobre el permiso que se nos hace un poco elevado.
We, the street vendors, are here at this committee because the permit fee being proposed is too high.
Ya que en nuestro centro de trabajo hay madres solteras y sobre todo gente adulta mayor.
There's single mothers, older folks that participate in vending.
Que todos merecemos una oportunidad, una inclusión dentro de este lindo país que nos ha abierto la puerta.
We all deserve an opportunity and inclusivity in this country that has opened its doors to us.
Estamos muy orgullosos de poder seguir adelante, trabajar con ustedes, que nos han ayudado y queremos que nos sigan ayudando.
We are super grateful for your support through this process, and we hope that we can continue to count on you for support to lower this fee.
Pero necesitamos que también nos apoyen y que nos esperen, porque todavía no estamos organizados con la venta de comida y los carritos para las personas que van a trabajar en esa área.
We need your patience because we are still not prepared with all the county systems that are currently in place.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Buenos días, señores del comité.
Good day, committee.
Mi nombre es Miguel Ángel Pérez.
My name is Miguel Ángel Pérez.
Soy vendedor y lidero también el grupo de vendedores en Exposition Park.
I am a street vendor and also a leader of the vendors in Exposition Park.
El motivo que estoy aquí es para...
Sorry, my purpose here today is...
estamos preocupados por el precio de los permisos.
We are
Es
concerned
muy
about the
elevado.
permit. We are concerned about the permit fees. They are very expensive.
Ya que en todos Los Ángeles hay vendedores, madres solteras y también personas de la tercera edad.
There are many vendors that are single women and elderly.
En mi lugar de trabajo en Exposition Park,
In the work in Exposition Park,
estamos bien organizados, estamos La mayoría de mis compañeros ya tienen el permiso de negocio
We are organized in Exposition Park. Many of us have the business permit.
y les pido a ustedes, señores del comité,
We ask you, committee members,
para que estén en nivel con los de los carritos de comida
to consider the timeline that it takes to get a cart,
y también con los permisos para los vendedores,
and consider the time it takes to get a cart and to get a permit through the city,
porque nos sentimos muy atrasados.
because we feel behind.
Ya los permisos ya lo tenemos, pero no tenemos aún los carritos
We are getting our state business permits, but we still are trying to get the carts from the
de
county.
comida.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Santa Huerta, soy vendedora de Fashion Center.
Good afternoon. My name is Santa Huerta. I am a street vendor in the Fashion District.
Estoy aquí yo representando a todos mis compañeros ambulantes.
I'm here representing the community of street
Estamos
vendors.
demasiado preocupados porque ustedes están poniendo una cifra extremadamente alta, lo cual nosotros no podemos pagar esa cantidad que ustedes sugieren.
We are worried because the current proposal for a permit fee is too high, and it'll hurt us.
Como dijeron mis compañeros que ya hablaron, hay mucha gente de la tercera edad, hay gente de madres solteras.
There are many
Pagamos demasiada renta, las rentas están pasando sobre $1,500 a $2,000. Entonces lo que nosotros vendemos no nos está alcanzando para poder pagar lo que ustedes creen cobrarnos.
There are many elderly people, single mothers, heads of households that are trying to eke out a living with the housing costs that are $1,000 or $2,000. It's very difficult for us.
Les rogaría mucho, señores del comité, que se tocaran el pecho por nosotros. Nosotros vamos a trabajar con ustedes, ustedes van a trabajar con nosotros. Nosotros generamos mucho dinero si ustedes nos van a ayudar en este comité. Por favor, les suplico en eso.
I plead with you, committee, to touch your heart, to consider that we want to work with you, you want to work with us. We can generate a lot of revenue if we work together.
Thank you very much.
Muy buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Aureliano Santiago.
My name is Aureliano Santiago.
Soy vendedor ambulante de MacArthur Park.
I am a street vendor at MacArthur Park.
Hoy, gracias por la atención que nos están prestando.
Thank you for your attention.
Vengo a decirles algo que está pasando en mi comunidad.
I want to tell you something that's happening in my community.
Los señores oficiales de BSS prácticamente nos están discriminando.
The staff from Streets LA are discriminating against us.
Los señores en MacArthur Park están moviendo a todos los vendedores.
The staff in MacArthur Park from Streets LA are moving all the street vendors.
Ustedes nos dijeron que este año es año de preparación.
You said that this was the year to prepare.
Si los señores están haciendo eso, estamos volviendo como estábamos hace 5 años, que los oficiales llegaban, nos ponían un ticket.
The way that they're operating now is like it was 5 years ago when they would show up and give us fines.
O nos llevaban a la cárcel.
Or they would take us to jail.
Estamos volviendo a lo mismo.
We are returning to the same.
Le falta ética profesional a los señores oficiales.
We need ethical professionalism of the staff.
Porque nos están discriminando.
Because they're discriminating against us.
Gracias y buenas tardes.
Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Caridad Vázquez y soy vendedora de Boyle Heights. Nomás quiero presentarles mis compañeras que han estado hablando, que somos mayores de edad y quiero presentárselas. Por favor, compañeras.
Good afternoon. My name is Caridad Vázquez from Boyle Heights, and I wanted to present all the vendors here with us today that are elderly, that are
Gracias,
seniors.
compañeras. Esa es mi petición hacia ustedes, decirles que nos reduzcan los permisos, porque he estado escuchando, todos estamos comprometiendo a la educación que nos van a dar.
Cari. I want to passionately tell you that we are here today because we want to participate in the system. We want to have education and work with you on this program.
Entonces, eso es lo que estoy escuchando, que no estamos, sí nos estamos preparando para todo lo que los reglamentos que nos están dando. Y esas oportunidades, gracias también por apoyarnos y vean que somos el 80% de mujeres trabajadoras para seguir adelante en esta ciudad. Gracias.
We are getting prepared. We want to be prepared. 80% of the street vendor population is women. We are here because we want to participate in this system.
Okay, Patty Archuleta, Francisco Gonzalez, Eviglio Mendez, Sandra Belida. If you're here, come on down, please. Yes, you may start.
My name is Patty Archuleta. I am a street vendor from 31st and San Pedro. I am here to ask this committee to advocate for us. For us on the high cost of the vending permits. They are high cost for us, especially on these hard times. Sales. Sales are low now. Today they're very low for some of us. Sometimes for myself, for example, this weekend, and Sunday I made like $20. I went home with $20, which that was something for me, that put gas in my car, and, we bought a pizza, so that was good. But this is where I'm at in my life. I'm not a food vendor, but I'm a I vend with I sell clothes and et cetera, but this is me, I can't afford $500 a year for the permits.
Okay, thank
you for
you.
your time.
Thank you for your comments. Yes, sir.
Mi nombre es Francisco Javier González y venía aquí con el comité de exposición para pedirles el favor de que se toquen el corazón, ¿verdad? Ya que nos dieron una oportunidad para...
My name is Francisco Gonzalez. I am here in hopes that you would touch your heart to consider the street vendors. I am a street vendor in Exposition Park.
Ya que nos dieron una oportunidad de poder trabajar bien y todo, estamos tomando las clases y todo, ya no hay ahorita gente realmente que se está portando mal, tenemos limpias las banquetas, tratamos de hacer todo lo que las clases nos están indicando y eso queremos que por favor nos ayuden, nos apoyen, porque hay mucha gente que ya no nos quiere dar trabajo ni nada y tenemos que sacar adelante a nuestros hijos.
We are beginning to take classes and get ready to formalize our businesses. In Exposition Park, we're keeping the sidewalks clean and working with other people. We need this enterprise to take care of our kids.
Las clases de nuestros niños son muy caras y eso, y hay mucha gente que realmente ocupa esto. Por favor, apóyennos, tóquense en el corazón.
The child care and classes for our kids are really expensive. We hope that you consider supporting us, and we need this business.
Thank you. Thank you.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Eulogio Martínez, soy vendedor de Pacoima.
Good afternoon, I'm a vendor in Pacoima.
Yo nada más les pido a ustedes que nos den un permiso para trabajar justo.
We hope that you can give us a permit so we can work in a just manner.
Ya que los costos del carrito es muy caro, más lo de la banqueta.
The carts from the county are really expensive.
Más la comisaría.
The commissary fees are expensive.
Yo les pregunto a ustedes.
We ask you.
Ustedes están haciendo a que la gente adinerada explote a la gente trabajadora que en verdad quiere trabajar.
We don't want to be an exploited workforce.
Es todo. Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes, gracias por su tiempo. Yo vengo de los vendedores de la Main.
I'm sorry, ma'am, your name?
Mi nombre es Sandra, de la Main en la 47.
I'm a vendor at Main and 47th Street.
Y quería decirles y pedirles que nos ayuden si es que nosotros necesitamos en mejorar en algo. Estamos dispuestos a trabajar con ustedes. También que el costo no sea elevado. Le damos las gracias por el tiempo que nos dan escucharnos a nosotros. Somos familias trabajadoras.
We hope that you listen to us. We are hardworking families. We want to work with you. We are eager to participate in the system and abide by the requirements.
Que llevamos la comida a la mesa de nuestras familias y queremos trabajar con ustedes. Gracias.
We bring the food from our families to customers, and we really want to work with you.
Thank you.
Con el respeto que ustedes se merecen,
les voy a decir lo que está pasando con los comerciantes. Yo soy una persona de la tercera edad.
¿Cómo se llama?
Mi nombre es Julio, soy vendedor de la 46 y con nosotros la mayoría somos de personas de la tercera edad en donde ya no nos reciben en trabajos. Yo tengo diabetes y he tenido varias cortadas y entonces pues ya no nos reciben en cualquier trabajo y por eso tomamos la determinación.
I am a street vendor. My name is Julio. I am a street vendor from 47th and Main. I am one of the seniors at elderly street vendors. I am diabetic. I need this business in order to take my medicine, and I've been through a lot, and this is an important enterprise for me.
Y por eso tomamos la determinación para vender en las aceras. Nosotros no queremos ser una carga para este país y queremos valernos por sí mismos. Las personas como nosotros de la tercera edad, manteniéndonos activos en el negocio, en nuestros trabajos que tenemos ahorita en las aceras, nosotros estamos dispuestos a que ustedes, todo lo que nos digan, estamos dispuestos a obedecer y seguir las reglas.
As a senior, as a street vendor, we want to be a valued part of this country. We do not want to be a burden on the city. We are ready and prepared to participate in the system if you grant us access to it.
También somos como un 80% de la tercera edad y queremos que nos ayuden ustedes para que sea un precio bajo en los permisos.
Many of us are seniors, and we hope you can support a lower permit fee.
Okay. Juana Shabin, Leticia Rodriguez, and last speaker, Rosa Miranda. If you're here, please come forward. Okay, they seem, okay, is anyone coming over?
I'm going to tag out now, team.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not speaking, I'm just helping interpretation.
Buenas tardes, señores concejales.
Good afternoon, council members.
¿Su nombre?
Mi nombre es Juana Sarvín.
My name is Juana Sarvín.
Soy madre vendedora ambulante.
I'm a mother and a street vendor.
Yo les quisiera pedir a ustedes que nos apoyen con un bajo precio de los permisos.
I would like to ask you to support us with a lower price for the permits.
Y también que vengan junto con Sabruridad. Puesto que pues hay mucha gente como yo, que soy madre, pues ustedes saben que no nos podemos ir a trabajar en un restaurante o algo.
And also to work with the health department. There's a lot of people like myself who are moms and we can't get a job at a restaurant.
Y también a los señores ya mayores de edad, pues los señores que tienen restaurantes o otros negocios no les dan el trabajo.
And also seniors, folks who own restaurants, won't give them jobs.
Thank you. Thank you. Ma'am?
Sí, buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Yo soy Rosalba Mondragón.
I'm Rosalba Mondragón.
Soy vendedora ambulante.
I'm a street vendor.
Yo soy una mujer
Excuse me.
Tenemos en la lista.
Yes.
Sí, estaban en la lista.
No, not aquí.
Alba.
Leticia Rodríguez y Rosa Miranda.
Soy yo, Rosa Miranda. Rosa.
Okay, Rosa.
Sí.
Tú hablas.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Buenas
Thank you.
tardes, miembros de este comité.
Good afternoon, members of this committee.
Mi nombre es Rosa Miranda.
My name is
Soy organizadora con la campaña de los vendedores ambulantes y trabajo para East LA Community Corporation.
My name is Rosa Miranda. I am an organizer with the Street Vendor Campaign and I work for the East LA Community Corporation.
Yo estoy aquí más que nada abogando por todos los vendedores.
I'm here advocating for all vendors.
Aquí tengo a Nati, que es una de las vendedoras que me inspira todos los días.
Here's Nati, who's a vendor that inspires me every day.
Es una señora que lo que recibe son $610 y su renta es de $550.
She's someone who receives $610 a month from SSI and her rent is $550.
Entonces les pregunto a ustedes, Queremos que ustedes destinen fondos de la ciudad para poder invertir en este programa.
So we're asking you to allocate funds from the city to be able to invest in this program.
Agradezco que este año se dio para educación, pero no se está haciendo.
I appreciate that this year was supposed to be for education outreach, but that's not what's happening.
Nosotros como campaña estamos trabajando a trabajo forzado.
As a campaign, we're working really hard.
Hemos tenido una cumbre de 300 personas.
We had a vendor summit with 300 vendors.
Estamos sacando las licencias.
We're helping folks get their business
Y
licenses.
queremos trabajar con el condado para que se alinee con el permiso de la ciudad.
And we want to work with the county to align itself with the city permit.
Los vendedores no se niegan a pagar un permiso, pero que sea un permiso justo.
Vendors are they're not saying they won't pay for a permit, but they need it to be a just permit
Thank you.
price.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's going to conclude our public comment. Let's ask the COO to join us at the table along with the CLA. Let's talk about the permit and Streets LA, talking about the permit costs and outreach efforts. Let me just stress the commitment that members on this committee have to moving forward in a very positive, progressive, and sensitive way. We realize there are competing concerns sometimes between the vendors, the brick and mortar businesses, and customers. And we want to make sure that we're doing all we can to accommodate the concerns, legitimate concerns that all parties have as we work together, implementing a policy that is good for the community and good for the vendors. I'll ask
I'll go
who to
ahead.
start.
That's Felipe Chavez. I'm with the CLA's office.
Thank you, Philippe.
In December of 2018, the City Council adopted an ordinance and rules and regulations for vending in parks. At the same time, the council requested staff to report back with a fee study. It requested BSS and Rec and Parks to report back with a staffing plan for compliance and to operate the program. And it instructed the CLA to report back with an RFP for outreach and education. The council approved, I believe, 24 positions for compliance and enforcement, and also provided $350,000 for outreach and education. Before you today are three separate reports, one from the Bureau of Street Services, which basically describes the rules and regulations for both vending in parks and the public right-of-way. It also addresses how the Economic and Workforce Development Department will work with the business source centers to provide a one-stop shop to provide resources to individuals interested in obtaining a permit. Additionally, our office conducted the RFQ, and we have staff here to report to any questions that you may have on any of the issues. The BSS, the CAO also, there's also a CAO report which, based on council request, conducted a review and came up, the council requested a full cost recovery amount, and that cost was $541.
Let's just talk briefly about the deployment plan for the investigators. That's an important part of the program. How are investigators going to be deployed? What will they do?
Good afternoon, Gary Harris, Bureau of Street Services. We have a plan for 17 investigators to be deployed citywide for regulation and compliance related to the street vending ordinance. These are specially trained investigators who have expertise in this particular subject and who will focus 100% of their time on enforcing this issue, as well as providing support for special events throughout the city. They work on generally a 410 plan 7 days a week, so they can respond citywide, and we do plan to work closely with our partners in the Department of Recreation and Parks and the Park Rangers on these types of events citywide.
Okay, members, I know that your time is tight. Either of you have some questions you'd like to?
Yes, Chief Harris, I know that 17, so these positions have been hired at this time?
They're in the process of being hired. We have 8 deployed right now.
Uh-huh.
The rest are in various portions of the background process, but we expect to have a full deployment by the end of next month.
So we're talking about 17 inspectors to cover 6,500 miles of city streets, essentially, correct?
That's correct. But, you know, they will, the thing that's unique is that they will be dedicated to this particular function as opposed to existing staff, which carry responsibility for over 100 municipal codes of various types related to various issues with the use and misuse of the public right-of-way.
How does the 17 align to the current number of street services investigators that we have now?
We currently have 24 assigned to what we call districts. Those are the areas that we've divided the city up into along the lines the same as the Bureau of Street Services use for maintenance work. There's one investigator in all of those 24 districts. The 17 obviously will have more room to cover than the 24 because they're a smaller number. We have an additional group of, what's about 22? That are involved in special operations, things like overload truck regulation, special events, and other functions.
17 in addition to 22?
The 20.
22 plus 17?
Right.
You're right.
Right.
So, and just to be clear, just trying to put on my old Public Works hat days, has there been a restoration of positions bringing you kind of pre-recession levels to the number of street services investigators that you have available on your team?
We're a lot closer than we've ever been. We're not fully there.
Okay.
But we are much closer to having a full deployment, and we feel that we're doing a better service level right now because we have that staffing.
And so based on not having yet achieved that full staffing levels restored, what has been, and just because I'm trying to make sure that we are very thoughtful about not setting ourselves up for failure. Historically, we know what the needs are in terms of our enforcement efforts. Unfortunately, our street services officers get, I know, inundated with requests for service for investigations. And typically, during economic hardship, they're the first to be impacted. And so I want to be thoughtful because there's a balancing act that we need to provide in this conversation to help manage the enforcement levels that were necessary to help assure that we have the highest best practice that we're achieving in all of our intended outcomes. So that said, how confident are you we're still trying to hire these, fully staff up to the 17. You're still not at full current street services personnel levels. At this time, what is based on the volume of calls that you've gotten or received currently for the education and outreach, how confident are you that the 17 is going to be sufficient to sustain the level of inquiries that you have thus far received?
We don't think the 17 are sufficient, but we think it will provide an adequate level of service. We hope to use this time to study better what the needs are once we deploy this group of staff, and we are able to bring back more data and more realistic projections that we can share with you on what the true needs are out there. But just as an example of what we currently do, one of the reasons that we couldn't absorb the work of these 17 people into that group we talked about, that group already receives over 40,000 requests for service per fiscal year. We issue over 40,000 various types of permits that belong to such things as special events or obstructions or overload trucking regulation that we do. So absorbing a full-time vending program into our current group would be virtually impossible.
Thank you.
Mr. Buscaino.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. And this has been a long 2.5 years in the making. And to the small businesses who are here, I appreciate your advocacy and your concerns. They're the same concerns that I've had. Even as a police officer, as a senior lead officer, I was tasked with citing and arresting vendors back in the day, and I clearly did not work. And it was, I believe, the wrong thing to do. We need to set policies, rules, and regulations, and we've come this far from the vending community, bring in the small businesses as well. And then we had the state law that we completely lost local control over. So just know that I believe moving forward, we have just and rules in place, but we just need to move on it. And it's taken too long. You're absolutely right. My only concern is, come January, this, vending in the city of LA will be illegal if we don't have these rules and regulations in place. And we adopted an ordinance that states if it will be illegal to vend without a permit by January 2020. Are we going to have everything in place by January 2020, which is in the next few months? And what are we doing to educate the outreach to vendors on what they can or cannot do? On how are we going to meet that January 1st deadline if we aren't ready by January 1st, and what's going to be the game plan moving forward?
Councilman, we are currently involved in an outreach program.
Okay.
Using the existing rules and regulations. And I might point out that even if the permitting process goes effective in January, the rules and regulations will be essentially the same, just with the addition of the need to have a permit. So we are doing that outreach now with existing staff. We're working with some of the vending organizations. We're trying to meet with all the community groups we can meet with at this point to get the word out about what the current rules and regulations are. In addition, working with the CLA's office, we do have a request out for some service providers to come on board, if approved by the council, that will allow us to have additional resources out in the field, meeting with vendors and educating them about the things necessary to get permits as we go forth in
Do you have a
January.
request out where?
We have a request for proposal. The
An RFP is out.
Mhm. And it's a part of the CLA's report, so I defer to Felipe to comment more.
Where are we
on
at
that.
on that, Felipe? Do we know?
Yes, the CLA did conduct an RFQ. We received 8 proposals, which have now been scored and evaluated.
Okay.
We released a report with the 8 service providers, and that's before you today to approve. And we're just waiting also for council approval for that.
Got it. I see the recommended service providers.
Correct.
I see that in front of us. Very good.
Let me just get to something that several of the speakers commented on. That was the cost, the proposed cost. I think the proposal was for $500 or right around that range. We heard several individuals testify that permit fee would be prohibitive under most circumstances. If we were to eliminate, I know that we asked for cost recovery, but if we were to estimate a higher number of permits, let's say 20,000, what would the permit fee be?
Nicole Trujillo with the
Yes.
Office of the CAO. Changing the number of permits to 20,000 would adjust the level of the fee. 20,000 with the existing cap rate model is the amount you would like to look at?
Correct. What does that number come out to? Roughly, it doesn't have to be to the penny, but give us a range.
I did another one, yeah. Sorry, so the,
And if we were to use something besides the cap rate, such as the add, delete positions, would that help? What would the permit
yeah, so
fee
if
be
you
then?
use the add delete rate in lieu of the full cap rate and use the number of permits as $20,000, the fee would come to $291. And there would be a general fund impact of approximately $2.8 million that would have to be solved for.
Okay. Well, members, based on our testimony and the work we've done in this over the past several years, yeah, I'm going to ask the CLA to read some recommendations.
There were a few technical amendments that were requested by the CAO, and also we need to update the administrative code to reflect new language for the sidewalk vending trust fund. So I'm going to read those into the record.
Okay.
To amend and substitute recommendation number 3 in the CAO report as follows. A would say to negotiate and execute amendments to current contracts with 4 business or center service providers to expand the scope of work to include the provision of services as one-stop resources for the sidewalk and park vending permits and provide $386,531 in cumulative additional funding for the period from January 1st, 2020 through March 31st, 2020, subject to city attorney review and approval as to form and legality, and in compliance with city contracting requirements. The service providers and their individual allocations are included on page 5 of the CAO report. And B, subject to availability and the approval of transfer of additional funds in the amount of $386,531, negotiate and execute amendments to current contracts with 4 business or centers providers with revised scope of work for continued provision of services as one-stop resources for the sidewalk and park vending permits for the period from April 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2020, and subject to city attorney review and approval as to form and legality and in compliance with city contracting requirements. And C, make technical corrections as necessary to transactions included in this report and the CAO report to implement mayor and council intentions, subject to the approval of the city administrative officer. Recommendation number 2 would be to request the city attorney to amend Chapter 68, Section 5.460 of the Los Angeles Administrative Code as follows, and authorize the city attorney in consultation with the city administrative officer to make any technical corrections. Section 5.460, creation and administration of fund. A, there is hereby created and established in the Treasury of the City of Los Angeles a special trust fund known as the Sidewalk Vending Trust Fund, hereinafter referred to as fund, to implement the provisions of the Los Angeles Municipal Code, Section 42.13. B, there shall be deposited in said fund annual permit fees and any revenue from fines associated with sidewalk vending violations. C, monies received pursuant to B above will be used only in the administration of the sidewalk vending program pursuant to Section 42.13 of the Los Angeles Municipal Code. D, all interest and earnings attributable to the monies in the fund shall be credited to the fund and shall be devoted to the purposes of the fund. E, pursuant to Charter Section 344A, at the close of each fiscal year, monies not expended from the fund shall remain in the fund and shall not revert to the reserve fund. F, the fund shall be administered by the Board of Public Works. Expenditures from the fund shall be authorized by the Board of Public Works. We're requesting approval of this, or its designee. Yes, so that should read, let me repeat F. The fund shall be administered by the Board of Public Works or its designee. Expenditures from the fund and shall be authorized by the Board of Public Works or its designee. We're requesting approval of the CAO report, the BSS report, and the CLA report.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank you for that staff report, and I want to thank my colleagues for your work and dedication on this issue over the several years, and for the advocates on both sides of the issue and the business community. Again, I just want to let you know that we appreciate the input, and it's not over yet. I mean, we still are sort of finalizing and shaping these rules and regs in a way that's going to be a plus for the community, for the entire community. But based on what we've heard today, the testimony we've had, comments made, I'm going to move that we amend the CAO report, recommendation 1A, to set the permit fee at $291, and to concur with the amendment to the CAO's report, recommendation 7, by the Public Works Committee, as further amendment by the CLA, and that we approve the CLA report at this time. Ms. Rodriguez?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, and with all due respect, I can't support that because my bigger concern is our ability to actually, when we make policy decisions, unfortunately what happens is we're dealing with the lowest common denominator, not the highest and best actor in many of the circumstances that we're facing, which is why I'm concerned about the staffing levels and making sure that we continue to meet the needs of what our communities are seeking, and for both the benefit of the vendors as well as our communities, to assure that we are not going to undermine ourselves with staffing levels. That genuinely is a concern for me in order for us to fulfill all of the stated objectives. So I cannot support that. I think that the fee structure is necessary in order to assure that we fulfill all of the needs that we need to provide on our streets for the benefits of all parties involved. And I know that we have also sought opportunities for micro-business assistance for a number of these vendors as well to support those efforts. I know in my district, we are looking at doing a street vending incubator to support that activity as well, to make sure that we can help fulfill these things. So for me, it's about making sure that we are being thoughtful and judicious with the fee structures to help fulfill our overarching needs and goals to help manage our 6,500 lane miles of streets in Los Angeles. So I cannot support that particular amendment.
Well, I certainly understand your concern, Councilwoman. I don't necessarily share it. I think there are a lot of ways that we can calculate the proposed fee. I think projecting a larger number of applicants is certainly a positive and an acceptable way to do that. We know there's going to be some continued discussion. This is going to go on to the Budget Committee. This is not a final action today. It's merely our recommendation. But I would hope that we could move a figure that is more manageable, and as we move it forward, to have that discussion with the Budget Committee before a final decision is made. Mr. Busquiano.
If I can, I do share Ms. Rodriguez's concerns. That the point that actually stood out when she was speaking on the issue is that the fact that we're lowering the fee, does that mean less enforcement? It does not. Can you just say that on the record?
Yes, please.
No, it doesn't lower the enforcement.
Okay. If anything, we'd have to use more general fund dollars to make up those costs, or that fee, correct?
Right.
That means, so the change in the calculation is assuming an increased number of permits would be issued, and it also is using an add-delete rate rather than a cap rate, and the difference between those two is the add-delete rate includes only the retirement and flex benefit costs, and it does, whereas the full cap takes into account costs such as fuel, equipment, electricity, other overhead costs that are incurred by the...
So I'm okay with the lowering the permit fee, and we have an opportunity, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Chair, to say after 6 months or maybe a year, once this program launches, to come back and see how the permit structure is working or not working. We can always, it's not the ceiling, right?
Correct. So there is a recommendation in the CAO report after 6 months to come back and do a
review.
A reevaluation of the program,
Right.
and get actual costs, and see if this is a fee that's supporting the program.
So with that, I'm okay with moving forward per the committee chair's recommendation, and support the 6-month report back on how the fee structure is working or not working.
Okay, so we will move the recommendation forward of the 291 figure to the Budget Committee for further review and discussion. And as we will continue receiving your comments, ideas, suggestions on the best way to have a program that can be enforced and be meaningful, not just to the vendors, but also to our citizens and to our brick and mortar businesses as well.
And Mr. Chair, just to take a roll vote on item number 1 to show what the final votes are.
Certainly.
First, Councilmember Kern Price.
Aye.
Councilmember Joe Buscaino.
Aye.
And Councilmember Monica Rodriguez.
No.
I also had a question about, are we also concurring with the October 2nd Public Works amendments that were made? They were very minor, but they did have 2 amendments that they made in committee. Are we concurring with that?
We are concurring with those amendments. You want to read them?
Well, they asked to amend recommendation number 7 to also include an update, let's see, to instruct the BSS with the assistance of the Department of Recreation and Parks and Economic and Workforce Development Department to report to council in 6 months relative to implementation of the sidewalk and vending program, including the total number of permits issued, staffing needs, enforcement challenges, and the overall success of the program. They also wanted to consider program changes, including whether the program should include a location-based permit.
Yes, that was, I think, part of the motion, to accept those amendments as well. Okay, are there any other there's no other business, that will be the order on this item. Is there any other business before us at this time?
Yes, I believe we still have 16 people on the general public comment queue.
All right, well, let's, okay, well, let's take those comments at this time. General public comments. Thank you for your attendance and your involvement. If you can leave quietly, we can continue the meeting if you choose to leave.
Most of those names, I'm assuming, are going to be gone. Yeah. Yeah. It's just going to be a matter of reading them into the record. No, todavía tenemos una cita para empezar a hacer para empezar a llamar a la señorita. Todavía no acaba. Gracias, señora.
Kadoko. So, where'd she get that from? Did you talk to him?
Mr. Price?
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good.
Vivian Hartman. I'd like to come into your office like next month because I have Bone Marrow Awareness Month for Sophia's Angels where you have the resolution.
Oh, yeah, yes.
And so I want to have a video of the families with children here, and I want the families to swab. And I would love your office to swab and say this is the only way to test to see if we're We'll set it up. Yeah. Can I have the card and then I can call because I'm
We'll have a staff member come.
Okay.
He just went to the restaurant.
Anyone left here for public comment? Is anyone?
Was one? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we've got some names. I'll read the names.
We still going to hear public comment?
This is public comment, 1 minute.
Or exit the room.
Okay, you've got to sign up for it. I've got Vivian Hartman, Maria Torres, Jesse
1 minute.
Vasquez,
1 minute.
Alicia Mendoza, Claudia Castillo. Are you here?
Yes.
Come on down. 1 minute, please.
Oh, good. I'm glad to be back.
This is public comment about anything.
Okay.
Not the agenda? This is not on the agenda items, but anything else you may wish to speak to.
I just wanted to say that I appreciate that we were in front of you and I gave you my information so that you can, instead of having to look everything up, that everything is highlighted, so it makes it easier for you. And then also I wanted to say that as far as a restaurant owner for 21 years, I appreciate your considered thought to everything that I present in front of you for the vending. And then on a personal nature, with our, I have a nonprofit, Sophia's Angels, that is signed by all the council members for November for Bone Marrow Awareness Month, and I would like the opportunity for each of the council members to send out a video saying that it's only cotton swabbing to test if you match for someone for their life of their loved one based on my daughter Sophia, who died of leukemia at age 12. And also, in closing, this restaurant thing is very important because of the germs. I don't know how my daughter died from germs, and so cross-contamination, and that haunts me, and that's why I stand strong.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alicia Mendoza, and I'm here for our restaurant organization, Restaurant Association, or SOCAL. All people we are see here is not the same people we see on the streets. I see women, I see old people, but it's not the same. We walk all days on the street, and I would like to invite you. You can come to the street and see people working out the street. It's young people, and it's not small things like this people come to say. There is a big restaurant on the street. They affect my business, not only me. I have here to let you know, come to the sea, every city. Come to Los Angeles and walk on the street, and you see on the night, it's not the same people that come here.
Okay, thank you. Who's next?
I'm sorry.
Maria?
Maria Torres.
Yes.
My curiosity, this is my first time ever being involved in something so big. And the $291 that you just passed, I'm kind of questioning the fact of, would it come out of our pockets later on to say, you know what, the fee is going to go higher because the city needs more money? Is it going to come out from the restaurants, not the people selling?
No, it will come out of those selling. That's the idea.
Well, I understand that.
Yes.
But later on, our fees, will they go up? Because the city says, you know what, well, I'm a single mother of 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I came from Pacoima, I came from the projects, and I think to myself, that American dream, we've lived it. But I don't understand how 291, which is not the point. The point is that they're breaking the law.
Okay, right, well, but we appreciate that, and this is a process we're in. This is not the final determination what it's going to be, but it's just a recommendation out from the committee.
There's just statements that I would, it comes to, like I
Thank
said,
you.
it's our first time. But thank you, sir.
Well, thank you. Yes, sir.
I'm Gerardo. I think this is going to be a very big mistake if you guys, the city-led people.
Okay, I'm sorry, the comments are not supposed to be on the item we just discussed. This is on anything else. This is anything else, I'm sorry.
Anything else, yeah.
Correct.
If they let the people sell food on the street. I've been in the food industry for 20 years, and it's impossible to follow the rules when you are selling on the street. It's, even when you have a restaurant and you try to comply with everything, you have an inspector every 2-3 months,
Yeah.
and they check everything, and it's impossible. This is going to cause a big issue with the city. It's going
Well, you're saying there should be more in enforcement.
What was that?
You think there needs to be more for enforcement?
I believe,
Okay.
I believe the vendors should be allowed to sell on the street, but not food.
Okay,
Impossible.
all right, thank you.
Thank
Laura?
Me. Spanish, fine. Español. Sí. Okay. Yo estoy de manera ilegal en este país
I'm in legal way in this country
y yo sí pago mis permisos independientemente de lo que cuesten.
and pay for my permit, even they smash the cars I pay.
También tengo hijos pequeños
I had children, small children too,
y aún así opero bajo los reglamentos de este lugar.
and I conduct my business under the law.
La gente que vio aquí
Okay.
no es...
Yes, I'm sorry, we've heard this issue before. I'm sorry, we cannot have a further discussion on it at this time. We appreciate your presence. This is for general comments on anything else.
Una recomendación que yo doy,
I give you this recommendation
que salgan a las calles y miren la gente que realmente está trabajando.
and see the people who is really working the streets not the same.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you.
You want to give in a comment?
Buenas tardes, señor.
Good afternoon.
Mi nombre es José.
My name is Jose.
Lo que escuché,
I'm listening today.
yo nada más hago una recomendación.
I
No,
like to recommend
no juguemos.
don't play
Cuando uno va a cargar gasolina,
when we get gas.
dice no fumes.
They say that signs not smoking.
Dice no uses el celular.
Can I use your cell phone at the gas station?
Pero hoy por hoy
But today
tenemos un restaurante dentro del parking de la
we
de la
have
gas station.
restaurants inside to the gas station.
Cuando voy a comprar gas butano, tengo un restaurante en una compañía de un gas butano.
When I get also proton gas, they also has a restaurant.
No necesito nada más una chispa para que explote toda la manzana.
Yeah, there is only one thing to be in fire all the street.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Can I add a comment really quick?
No, ma'am. Who's next?
I haven't been
Lydia?
able to give you a public comment. I'll just sit down.
What was your name?
My name is Nadia, and I just sit down. We actually met at the Avance Democratic Club when
Yes.
you were running, trying to get reelected.
Mhm.
Yeah, nice to see you again. Mr. Curran, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Something that I forgot to add because it was too short my time is that I wanted to let you know that I've been an activist for immigrant rights, but this is not an issue about immigrants, about color or race. This is an issue that needs to be taken care as general. Let's not forget that the vending is not, when the governor said about the vending, it was not about food. It was about in general. So it's something that we need to look, and what he was was mentioning, we need to look at the safety of the community. And something that we need to look at is, for example, that they're putting tents, which we know that is nothing, that is something that can be possible. I also wanted to add that we are also single mothers. We are also parents. We are also older people.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Business owners. So thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman. Thank you. I hope my comment will help you.
Very much.
To take
Thank all the comments. Our last one is Mr. Sachs.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate the fact that you, I appreciate the fact that you decided to stick around, Mr. Price. This is not an issue regarding this community. Like anything else that the city council does without regulations. They pass it, it's about money. It's always about money with the city council. And they pass these things, initiatives, and they don't care about the regulations, Uber, the things you see on the street, no regulations, no regulations. Just get the money first. So I appreciate you sitting around here and taking this. It's about money laundering. It's about hiding income. This is big-time street level for people that come to the country and want to hide income. The people that affected are low-income people. The people that benefit are people that are able to hide their income by selling trinkets, like in Hollywood, for nickels and dimes so they can hide illegal income. That's what street vending is all about.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. I appreciate your comments and those of others here today. Is there any other item before us?
No, after
Mr.
that,
Clerk?
the risk is clear.
All right, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.